Turner Classic Movies is an American movie-oriented basic cable and satellite television network owned by the Turner Broadcasting System subsidiary of Time Warner. TCM is headquartered at the Techwood campus in Atlanta, Georgia's Midtown Business District. Historically, the channel's programming consisted mainly of featured classic theatrically released feature films from the Turner Entertainment Film Library, which comprises films from Warner Brothers Pictures and Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer. However, TCM now has licensing deals with other Hollywood film studios as well as its Time Warner sister company Warner Brothers, and occasionally shows more recent films. Turner Classic Movies is a dedicated film channel and is available in United States, United Kingdom, France, Spain, Nordic countries, Middle East and Africa. History. Origins in 1986, 8 years before the launch of Turner Classic Movies, Ted Turner acquired the Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer Film Studio for $1.5 billion. Concerns over Turner Entertainment's corporate debt load resulted in Turner selling the studio that October back to Kirk Kerkorian, from whom Turner had purchased the studio less than a year before. As part of the deal, Turner Entertainment retained ownership of MGM's library of films released up to May 9, 1986. Turner Broadcasting System was split into two companies, Turner Broadcasting System and Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, and reincorporated as MGM UA Communications Co. The film library of Turner Entertainment would serve as the base form of programming for TCM upon the network's launch. Before the creation of Turner Classic Movies, films from Turner's library of movies aired on the Turner Broadcasting System's advertiser-supported cable network TNT, along with colorized versions of black-and-white classics such as The Maltese Falcon. After the library was acquired, MGM UA signed a deal with Turner to continue distributing the pre-May 1986 MGM and to begin distributing the pre-1950 Warner Brothers film libraries for video release. Launch and contributions. Turner Classic Movies debuted on April 14, 1994, at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, with Ted Turner launching the channel at a ceremony in New York City's Times Square district. The date was chosen for its significance as the exact centennial anniversary of the first public movie showing in New York City. The first movie broadcast on TCM was the 1939 film Gone with the Wind, the same film that served as the debut broadcast of its sister channel TNT 6 years earlier in October 1988. At the time of its launch, TCM was available to approximately 1 million cable television subscribers. The network originally served as a competitor to AMC, which at the time was known as American Movie Classics, and maintained a virtually identical format to TCM, as both networks largely focused on films released prior to 1970 and aired them in an uncut, uncolorized, and commercial-free format. AMC had broadened its film content to feature colorized and more recent films by 2002 and abandoned its commercial-free format, leaving TCM as the only movie-oriented cable channel to devote its programming entirely to classic films without commercial interruption. In 1996, Turner Broadcasting System merged with Time Warner, which besides placing Turner Classic Movies and Warner Brothers Entertainment under the same corporate umbrella, also gave TCM access to Warner Brothers' library of films released after 1949. Incidentally, TCM had already been running select Warner Brothers film titles through a licensing agreement with the studio that was signed prior to the launch of the channel. In March 1999, MGM paid Warner Brothers and gave up the home video rights to the MGM UA films owned by Turner to Warner Home Video. In 2000, TCM started the annual Young Composers Film Competition, inviting aspiring composers to participate in a judged competition that offers the winner of each year's competition the opportunity to score a restored feature-length silent film as a grand prize, mentored by a well-known composer, with the new work subsequently premiering on the network. As of 2006, films that have been rescored include the 1921 Rudolph Valentino film Camille, two Lon Chaney films, 1921's The Ace of Hearts and 1928's Laugh, Clown, Laugh, and Greta Garbo's 1926 film The Temptress. In 2008, TCM won a Peabody Award for Excellence in Broadcasting. In April 2010, Turner Classic Movies held the first TCM Classic Film Festival, an event, now held annually, at the Grauman's Chinese Theatre and the Grauman's Egyptian Theatre in Hollywood. Hosted by Robert Osborne, the 4-day-long annual festival celebrates Hollywood and its movies, and features celebrity appearances, special events, and screenings of around 50 classic movies, including several newly restored by the Film Foundation, an organization devoted to preserving Hollywood's classic film legacy. Programming. Turner Classic Movies essentially operates as a commercial-free service, with the only advertisements on the network being shown between features, which advertise TCM products, network promotions for upcoming special programs, and the original trailers for films that are scheduled to be broadcast on TCM, and featurettes about classic film actors and actresses. In addition to this, extended breaks between features are filled with theatrically released movie trailers and classic short subjects, from series such as The Passing, Parade, Crime Does Not Pay, Pete Smith Specialties, and Robert Benchley, under the banner name TCM Extras. In 2007, some of the short films featured on TCM were made available for streaming on TCM's website. Partly to allow these interstitials, Turner Classic Movies schedules its feature films either at the top of the hour or at 15, 30 or 45 minutes past the hour, instead of in time slots of varying 5-minute increments. TCM's film content has remained mostly uncut and uncolorized, depending upon the original content of movies, particularly movies released after the 1968 implementation of the Motion Picture Association of America's ratings system and the concurrent disestablishment of the Motion Picture Production Code. Because of this, TCM is formatted similarly to a premium channel, with certain films, particularly those made from the 1960s onward, sometimes featuring nudity, sexual content, violence or strong profanity. The network also features rating bumpers prior to the start of a program. The network's programming season runs from February until the following March of each year, when a retrospective of Oscar-winning and Oscar-nominated movies is shown, called 31 Days of Oscar. As a result of its devoted format to classic feature films, viewers that are interested in tracing the career development of actresses such as Barbara Stanwyck or Greta Garbo, or actors like Cary Grant or Humphrey Bogart, have the unique opportunity to see most of the films that were made during their careers, from beginning to end. Turner Classic Movies presents many of its features in their original aspect ratio whenever possible. Widescreen films broadcast on TCM are letterboxed on the network's standard definition feed. TCM also regularly presents widescreen presentations of films not available in the format on any home video release. Occasionally, TCM shows restored versions of films, particularly old silent films with newly commissioned musical soundtracks. Turner Classic Movies is also a major backer of the descriptive video service, with many of the films aired on the network offering visual description for the blind and visually impaired, which is accessible through the second audio program option through most television sets, or a cable or satellite receiver. Movie library. TCM's library of films spans several decades of cinema and includes thousands of film titles. Besides its deals to broadcast film releases from Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer and Warner Brothers Entertainment, Turner Classic Movies also maintains movie licensing rights agreements with Universal Studios, Paramount Pictures, 20th Century Fox, Walt Disney Studios, Sony Pictures Entertainment, Studio Canal, and Janus Films. Most Paramount Sound releases made prior to 1950 are owned by EMKA Limited, NBC Universal Television Distribution, while Paramount holds on to most of its post-1949 releases, which are distributed for television by Trifecta Entertainment and Media. Columbia's film output is owned by Sony. Distribution of 20th Century Fox's film library is handled for television by its 21st Century Fox subsidiary 20th Television, and the Walt Disney Studios has its library film output handled for television by Disney ABC Domestic Television. Classic films released by 20th Century Fox, Paramount Pictures, Universal Studios, and Columbia Pictures are licensed individually for broadcast on Turner Classic Movies. Although most movies shown on TCM are releases from the 1930s through the 1960s, some are more contemporary. Turner Classic Movies sometimes airs films from the 1970s and occasionally broadcasts movies released during the 1980s, 1990s and the early 2000s. Hosted and special programming regular features. Most feature movies shown during the primetime and early overnight hours are presented by film historian Robert Osborne on Sunday through Wednesday evenings, with Osborne only presenting primetime films on weekends, and Ben Mankiewicz presenting only late evening films on Thursdays, and the Silent Sunday Nights and TCM Imports blocks on Sundays. TCM regularly airs a Star of the Month throughout the year on Wednesdays starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, in which most, if not all, feature films from a classic film star are shown during that night's schedule. Hosted by Robert Osborne, the network also marks the occurrence of a film actor's birthday or recent death with day or evening-long festivals showcasing several of that artist's best, earliest or least-known pictures, by effect. Marathons scheduled in honor of an actor's passing. Pre-EMPT films originally scheduled to air on that date. TCM also features a monthly program block called the TCM Guest Programmer, in which Osborne is joined by celebrity guests responsible for choosing that evening's films. An offshoot of this block featuring Turner Classic Movies employees air during February 2011. Turner Classic Movies also airs regularly scheduled weekly film blocks, which are periodically preempted for special themed month-long or seasonal scheduling events, such as the 31 Days of Oscar film series in the month preceding the Academy Awards and the month-long Summer Under the Stars in August. All featured programming has their own distinctive feature presentation bumper for the particular scheduled presentation. The Essentials, currently hosted by Osborne and Sally Field as of 2015, Update, is a weekly film showcase airing on Saturday evenings, which spotlights a different movie and contains a special introduction and post-movie discussion. The channel also broadcasts 2 movie blocks during the late evening hours each Sunday. Silent Sunday Nights, which features silent films from the United States and abroad, usually in the latest restored version and often with new musical scores, and TCM Imports, a weekly presentation of films originally released in foreign countries. TCM Underground, which debuted in October 2006, is a Friday late-night block which focuses on cult films. The block was originally hosted by rocker, filmmaker Rob Zombie until December 2006. Seasonal blocks each August. Turner Classic Movies suspends its regular schedule for a special month of film marathons called Summer Under the Stars, which features entire daily schedules devoted to the work of a particular actor, with movies and specials that pertain to the star of the day. In the summer of 2007, the channel debuted Funday Night at the Movies, a block hosted by actor Tom Kenny. This summer block featured classic feature films aimed at introducing these movies to new generations of children and their families. Funday Night at the Movies was replaced in 2008 by Essentials Junior, a youth-oriented version of its weekly series The Essentials. which included such family-themed films as National Velvet, Captain's Courageous and Yours, Mine and Ours, as well as more eclectic selections as Sherlock, Jr., The Music Box, Harvey, Mutiny on the Bounty and The Man Who Knew Too Much. Documentaries. In addition to films, Turner Classic Movies also airs original content, mostly documentaries about classic movie personalities, the world of filmmaking and particularly notable films. An occasional month-long series, Race and Hollywood, showcases films by and about people of non-white races, featuring discussions of how these pictures influence white people's image of said races, as well as how people of those races viewed themselves. Previous installments have included Asian Images on Film in 2008, Native American Images on Film in 2010, Black Images on Film in 2006, Latino Images on Film in 2009 and Arab Images on Film in 2011. The network aired the film series Screened Out in 2007 and Religion on Film in 2005. In 2011, TCM debuted a new series entitled AFI's Masterclass, The Art of Collaboration. TCM Remembers. In December 1994, TCM debuted TCM Remembers, a tribute to recently deceased notable film personalities that occasionally airs during promotional breaks between films. The segments appear in two forms: individual tributes and a longer end-of-year compilation. Following the recent death of an especially famous classic film personality, the segment will feature a montage of select shots of the deceased's work. Every December, a longer, more inclusive TCM Remembers interstitial is produced that honors all of the noted film personalities who died during the past year, interspersed with scenes from settings such as an abandoned drive-in or a theater which is closing down and is being dismantled. Since 2001, the soundtracks for these clip reels have been introspective melodies by indie artists such as Badly Drawn Boy or Steve Earle. TCM Remembers soundtracks. Turner Classic Movies HD. Turner Classic Movies operates a high-definition simulcast feed, with programs broadcast in HD presented in an up-converted 1080i resolution format. The HD feed of the network was launched in June 2009. Initial programming was not available in native high definition and was instead up-converted from standard definition, but benefited from the greater bandwidth allocated to the channel. As of mid-November 2014, it appears TCM HD is actually broadcasting at least some content in native HD TV, as evidenced by full-frame 4:3, 16:9, and wider screen aspect ratio content, which was previously shrunk slightly in both horizontal and vertical size, and the obviously now in HD bumper segments with Robert Osborne and Ben Mankiewicz. On Veterans Day 2014, the 1970 film pattern was subjectively much more detailed than in past TCM HD airings, as was the November 15 airing of On the Waterfront. Merchandising. TCM Vault Collection. The TCM Vault Collection consists of several different DVD collections of rare classic films that have been licensed, remastered and released by Turner Classic Movies. These boxed set releases are of films by notable actors, directors or studios that were previously unreleased on DVD or VHS. The sets often include bonus discs including documentaries and shorts from the TCM library. The initial batch of DVDs are printed in limited quantities and subsequent batches are made on demand. Universal Collection, featuring films licensed by TCM from the Universal Studios Vault. The Lost RKO Collection, featuring RKO films from the 1930s. TCM Archives, a series of DVD box sets released by Warner Home Video featuring pre-code and silent films, which includes the Forbidden Hollywood series. TCM Spotlight, a series of DVD box sets released by Warner Home Video featuring the popular Charlie Chan and stars such as Esther Williams, Errol Flynn, John Arthur, Deanna Durbin, and Doris Day. In October 2015, TCM announced the launch of the TCM Winner Club, in which they teamed up with Laithwaite to provide a line of mail-order wines from famous vineyards such as famed writer-director-producer Francis Ford Coppola's winery. Wines are available in 3-month subscriptions, and can be selected as reds, whites, or a mixture of both. From the wines chosen, TCM also includes recommended movies to watch with each, such as a True Grit wine, to be paired with the John Wayne film of the same name. International versions. Turner Classic Movies is available in many other countries around the world. In Canada, TCM began to be carried on Shaw cable and satellite provider Shaw Direct in 2005. Rogers Cable started offering TCM in December 2006 as a free preview for subscribers of its digital cable tier, and was added to its analog tier in February 2007. While the schedule for the Canadian feed is generally the same as that of the US network, some films are replaced for broadcast in Canada due to rights issues and other reasons. Other versions of TCM are available in Australia, France, Middle East, South Africa, Cyprus, Spain, Asia, Latin America, Scandinavia, the United Kingdom, Ireland and Malta. The UK version operates 2 channels, including a spin-off called TCM2.